Today we're talking about the FG-Dynamics compressor by Slate Digital. And if you guys want to know if this compressor is anything more special than other SSL emulated compressors out there, then stick around after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we're talking about the Slate Digital FG-Dynamics compressor. So what is the FG-Dynamics? Well, essentially this models the compressor in an SSL channel strip. So I've actually been waiting for Slate to add this to their virtual mix rack because this is where this module lives, because it basically completes the SSL channel strip in there. You have console emulation with their virtual console collection. You have the FGS EQ, which is the SSL EQ, and now we have this. So now we have the full SSL console available, all in the virtual mix rack. So in this video, what I'm going to do is we're going to review what's in this compressor. Then I'm going to let you guys hear it on a bass guitar, a drum bus, and an overall mix. And then we'll kind of look at it on an overall entire mix that I mixed with this, also with the FGS and the virtual console collection using the Brit E console setting, okay? Now, I was not able to compare this to either the Waves EV2 or SSL's own channel strip 2 because this living in the virtual mix rack makes it very, very different. Putting the same kind of settings does not even match up to an EV2 or SSL's own channel strip, okay? I can't even explain to you how different they are, all right? And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that as we go throughout the video. With that being said, since you guys are interested in this video, you might be interested in checking out my review on Waves EV2 channel strip, so definitely check that out after this video. A link is popping up in the top right corner. And as always, if you guys end up liking this plugin, I have a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. All right, so let's get further into this video and let's take a look at the user interface of the Slate Digital FG-Dynamics. All right, so we've got the FG-Dynamics opened here in Pro Tools within the virtual mix rack. I just want to go over the user interface quickly here because there are some unique parameters in this particular module compared to other SSL emulations. So if we look at the compressor section here, we have a knee setting here. So by default, it is a soft knee. If we engage the hard button here, it will go obviously from a soft to hard knee, and it will actually increase the threshold by 6 dBs, and the threshold is actually down here. And this is actually between 4 dBs and negative 26. That's your threshold that you can adjust here. This is your attack button here. By default is slow attack, and if you want to make it fast, you just press the fast button to engage it. This is our ratio over here. We have all the way down to 1 to infinity. And then this is something unique to this particular compressor here. So this is actually a linear release button. So this changes the release curve from logarithmic to linear. And this basically provides different colors of compression when this is engaged. And then down here, we have our release, which goes all the way down to 0.1 up to 4, I believe this is milliseconds. I'm sorry, 4 seconds, sorry. And that is the compressor section. And then down here, this is our compressor meter here for gain reduction, and this is our gate expander meter here. Now, the gate section is pretty straightforward and just like other SSL gate sections, so I'm not going to go over that. And then down here, we actually have a mix knob, so we can use this for parallel compression directly on a track. We have an option to link this if this is put onto a stereo track. And then we have the overall output level. So that is pretty much everything you need to know about the SSL FG-Dynamic compressor. So now let's actually take a look at this on a bass guitar track. All right, so for bass guitar, I have the main bass track right here. and then I have a bass distro track, which is essentially a parallel distortion track. And then these both go to the bass bus right here, and there is some bus compression and other processing right here, which I bypassed. I also have the bass distro currently muted, and we're just going to be listening to the main bass track here. And this is currently what I have on it regarding the virtual mix rack. And what I'm going to do is I'm just really going to kind of just bypass and then bring in the FG dynamic here so you can kind of hear what it's doing. I'm shooting for between -3 to -6 dBs of gain reduction. And we're using a kind of medium release here. So this is going to allow for us to get a little bit of smoothness, but also with this not fast attack, it's going to allow for us to get also some punchiness through, okay? So we're not grabbing the transient right off the bat. So with that being said, let's give it a listen. All right, cool. So we are getting, just a little bit more pluck from that bass there, a little bit more punch, and that's what I'm kind of going for. I'm using some of the other processing later down on the bus to get some more thickness, some more fullness out of it. I will say with this compressor here that you have to put a lot of level into it to really get some of the gain reduction on the meter here if you are not using a hard knee or a fast attack, okay? When these buttons are not engaged here, it's really hard to get this meter to react unless you're putting a lot of level into it. You can see that I have this output here cranked, okay? And I can guarantee you there's actually some pretty good overall level on the track here, including the actual clip itself. But I have to crank the output level here this much just to get, -3 to -6 dBs of gain reduction on this compressor. And if you're asking my opinion, it shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. So that's the way you're gonna have to account for it if you're using settings like this. So that being said, let's move on to hearing what this sounds like on a drum bus. All right, so I got my drum bus soloed up over here, and this is what I have set up over here. It's kind of funny looking. And as mentioned before, we have to put a lot of level in this compressor to get it to react if we're not using, again, the hard knee and the fast attack, which I don't want to use those for my drum bus. So we're looking at getting anywhere from -1 to -3 dBs of gain reduction. Now I'm trying to push it to about -3 so we can at least see the yellow light light up and you can really hear this compressor work. So that's what we're shooting for. So with that being said, let's give it a listen. I'll start with the bypass and then I'll bring it in. All right, cool. So you should have heard the, kick and snare get just a little bit more punchy because that's what we're shooting for with bus compression on overall drums, especially in a mix like this. Now, in other genres, this is a rock genre here. In other genres, we might be looking to, get a more smoother sound, which we would set this a little bit differently. But for this particular song, I want a punchy drum sound. Now, as mentioned, before we start listening, I have to put a lot of level in here. Not only do I have to put a lot of level in, look where my threshold is. It's all the way up. So there's like no leeway to go with this. So not really digging that, not real happy about that. So, it's something hopefully Slate can fix. I'm not sure if they intended that to work this way. And I will say that is not just my experience with this compressor. I had another engineer check this out on his setup and he's using a Mac. And I'm actually using Windows 11, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't having a Windows 11 issue, and it doesn't seem to be related to just my computer. It does seem to be working the same way on his Mac OS system, okay? So again, just keep in mind you have to put a lot of level into these compressors. So lastly, I want to listen to this compressor on the mix bus, and in turn we will kill two birds with one stone, because we will actually listen to my whole mix here. And this whole mix was actually mixed using the setup of the whole SSL channel strip within the virtual mix rack. So as mentioned here, we have the virtual console collection here set to the Brit 4 KE. We have our FG-Dynamic compressor here, and then we have the FG-S. So this is the whole SSL setup within the virtual mix rack. All right, so with that being said, let's actually take a listen to what this sounds like as a whole, and then running it through the FG-Dynamics on our mix bus. Alright, so there you have it. That was my mix using all of the SSL modules within the Slate Digital Virtual Mixer Rack, and also, as you can see here, using the FG-Dynamics as my master bus compression. Alright, so that was my review / tutorial on the FG-Dynamics by Slate Digital. And hopefully by hearing it on bass guitar, drum bus, and an overall mix, including all the instruments in the mix, you have a pretty good idea of what this sounds like, including all the other SSL modules within the VMR. Now, I have to say that I am actually pretty disappointed in this plugin. When I saw it show up in my inbox that this was being released, I was super excited because you guys know I'm a huge SSL guy, and I was excited that they were completing the channel strip within the VMR for SSL. But I have to say this plugin just doesn't sound like all the other SSL emulated, compressors out there, like the EV2 by Waves or the actual channel strip plugin 2 by SSL, their own emulated plugin. It just doesn't react the same. And the fact that I have to put so much level into it, something just isn't right to me. I just wasn't able to get that same kind of punchiness that I get from those other SSL emulated compressors from this one here. So I'm just not really digging it. I don't think it's a bad plugin. Like, I won't give it a thumbs down. To me, it's like a mediocre plugin. It's not going to make it into my workflow. I just think Slate could have did a lot better job with it. I can't vouch if they were trying to emulate an SSL console to a T, or if they were trying to kind of do their own kind of version of it, kind of where they took the LA2A and did their own opto compressor version of it. I really don't know, but I'm just really not digging it as an SSL guy. So for me, I'm not going to use it. Now, don't let me, sound like I'm putting down Slate products, because I love Slate as much as I love SSL. I got Ravens back here. I got the VRS as my actual interface that runs my studio. I got their microphone, and I got, bajillion plugins from them. So love Slate. So, Slate, if you're watching, love you guys, just don't love this plugin, okay? So again, for you guys watching though, if you guys do like this plugin, I do have a link in the description below where you guys can go buy it. And if you guys end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so I'm making this content for you, and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my review on the Slate VMR, where I go over every module within it. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.